The Tekken series has long been a beacon of excellence in the fighting genre, sporting highly technical gameplay and snubbing those tedious analog sticks. The series continues with the highly anticipated Tekken 6, but does it pack a punch? The game begins with a lavish cutscene as usual, providing glimpses into the lives of the fighters and introducing the new characters. Players are then given an extensive recap of the events of the entire series from 1 to 5, though it's presented in a somewhat disappointing grayscale animation. However, it succeeds in bringing people up to speed on the convoluted story arc that the series is famous for. You'll also find some trademark goofy humor in here as well. The plot is skeletal at best, although Namco has definitely laid it on heavier this time with the console-exclusive scenario mode. Chock full of rivalries and stories of revenge, every character has a reason to be in Tekken 6, though we can't see why you'd care. If you never cared about the G Corporation or Mishima Zaibatsu before, Tekken 6's narrative won't change that. The most important part of the game is the fighting, and it's largely unchanged to the previous installments. Instead, it's been tweaked for greater balance and new additions like Rage Mode that will definitely make for some interesting bouts. If you've enjoyed the fighting in any previous Tekken before, you'll enjoy it here, though the difficulty tends to change abruptly, throwing up brick walls for less experienced players. This is especially true for the final 2 battles in Arcade Mode, both of which are exponentially more challenging than the bouts that came before them. While playing offline, Tekken offers a standard arcade mode, ghost battles, time trials, a survival mode, and a practice mode, whereas online mode presents some run-of-the-mill ranked and unranked matchmaking. There's occasionally some extreme lag that will severely hinder your ability to play, and we definitely encountered more of it than we'd like. The most noticeable addition to the gameplay is the aforementioned scenario mode, which, sadly, falls flat on its face. Playing like a third-person adventure game, you move from area to area, unlocking new characters for single-player usage as you defeat them. You'll also find new items of clothing along the way that will change the way you look and bolster your attributes. You might be deadly in the arena, but proficiency in arcade mode has hardly any influence on scenario mode. A wealth of glitches and hit detection issues make combat aggravating at best, and broken at worst. The problem is the fighting controls have been shoehorned into an open field without any modification. The game compensates for this at first by making it childishly simple, but later stages have you pitted against dozens of enemies, and it simply doesn't work. The controls were designed for one-on-one combat, yet time and time again you're forced to fight large groups of enemies. Fortunately, the scenario mode is easily ignored. It reeks of something that was hastily tacked onto what was otherwise an excellent game. The main problem is that the customization system with Tekken 6 is very complicated. Each character has 1 to 3 different models, each of which can be outfitted with hundreds of different articles of clothing and accessories. The hairstyles have even been divided into 4 subcategories. While many might appreciate the almost too detailed character customization, it fails to hit its mark because there's no character creation. Rather than being allowed to build a new character from the ground up using one of the many gameplay styles, you're restricted to modifying existing characters. Another strange thing is that the most potent combinations of items often look the most garish and unappealing. There have been occasions when the movie Bruno came to mind. However, this is all nitpicking because the customization is optional. The standard arcade fighting, which carries over into online mode, remains largely unchanged. And with the 40 characters to choose from, all of which play differently, there's certain to be someone for every fighting fan. Those who are new to the series might find the difficulty overwhelming at times, but if that's the case, you can always use Eddie or Christy. The graphics are excellent throughout. The music works fine, but if you don't like it, you can always play something from your 360 or PS3's hard drive. Furthermore, your music can constantly play, not just during matches or certain modes. The only performance problem arises from load times, which are long and frequent enough to be noticed. However, elder geeks need only remember the load times on early CD games to put things into perspective. In the end, Tekken 6 is a dish worth sampling that lives up to the quality of its predecessors, and we think that the chef went a little heavy on the garnish. But underneath the subpar story and trivial additions is a solid fighter that we can recommend to all fans of the genre.